be dragonglass.
Dragonglass?
The maesters call it obsidian.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back for another Game of Thrones Season 8 Q&A video. I know some of you still have a lot of questions you wanted answered, so I figured I would do another one of these videos. Last night I made a post asking everyone to leave me some questions, so I picked the questions that I saw with the most likes. Then I picked a few other ones that didn't have any, just to mix it up. I only left that post up for about an hour because I wanted to get started on this video right away. So with that being said, let's begin. This first question is from Yo Mama is Fat. What do you think the horn Sam found in Season 2 will be used for, if at all? Well, according to the legend, this horn has the power to be able to wake the giants and bring down the wall, but both of these things have already happened without the horn being blown. The wildlings have had giants since the show began, and the Night King brought down the wall with Viserion, so if they would introduce this horn again in Season 8, there are really only two things I think they could possibly do. Before I say what those two things are, I have to give a spoiler warning because I could potentially spoil something next season. So if you do not want to know, I would recommend fast forwarding the video. Just look at the clock on the screen and skip to that time. Some filming news came out last week, and apparently during one of the episodes next season, someone will blow a horn at Winterfell. Now, this horn could just be a signal warning everyone of the enemy approaching, or it could be the Horn of Winter, which Sam did find during Season 2. In the books, Sam took this horn with him to the Citadel, but we haven't seen him with it in the show since he found it. But he could still have it with him, and it could be the horn that will be blown at Winterfell. Sam did take a bunch of old restricted books from the Citadel, and he may find out exactly what the horn is used for. Or Bran could find out in one of his visions. Since the wall already came down and the giants are already awake, then I think this horn could wake something else up. This horn could possibly wake up the old kings of winter in the crypts of Winterfell. They could all possibly have a connection, considering they all have winter in their title. It is called the Horn of Winter, and the kings below Winterfell are called the Kings of Winter, so maybe it will wake them up. But this horn could also work like the Dragon Binder. In the books, Euron Greyjoy has a horn he said he found in Valyria. He said his horn has the power to control dragons, so I think the Horn of Winter could be very similar. But instead of controlling dragons, maybe it can control the Night King or his army. You have to keep in mind, when Sam found this horn, he did find it with other weapons that are used to defeat the others. So maybe this horn is a weapon as well, and it can be used to control whatever the Night King is controlling. Or maybe the horn is so loud it can crack and shatter ice. It could have the power to shatter all of the White Walkers. I know that might sound a bit tinfoily, but that's just my opinion. I really don't see it having any other purpose but to be used against the Night King. The next question is from Tate. If Dany's vision of the burnt throne room is foreshadowing, then why is the 7-pointed stars still behind the throne? Didn't Cersei get rid of that and put a Lannister lion there? Yes, Cersei did change the pointed star to a Lannister lion, so technically, if Dany's vision was a glimpse of the future, then it should have had a lion there as well. I totally agree with that, but don't let that deter you. In my opinion, it's just a continuity error. When the showrunners filmed this scene back in Season 2, I don't think they thought about the pointed star behind the throne. At that time, they probably didn't think they would be changing it to a lion, and you have to keep in mind they filmed that scene almost 5 years ago. The show has made so many continuity errors lately, I wouldn't put too much thought into this. So let me give you an example. Dragonglass should not be able to kill whites. Back in the early seasons, the only way to kill whites was with fire. In fact, in the books, Sam stabs a white with dragonglass nearly a dozen times and it doesn't affect it at all. But now, all of a sudden in Season 7, whites are dropping like flies with just about any weapon touching them. These are issues with continuity within the show's plot, and the symbol behind the throne is just another poor example of this, that's all. Trust me, we will see the throne room look just like it did in Dany's vision next season. The next question is from Matthew, and he says, do you think Sansa will attempt to stage a coup right when Jon and Dany arrive, and she and the Northmen find out the chemistry between the two? This is a really good question, and this is something I have talked about at length with Grey Area. Both of us think Sansa will have a major problem when Jon shows up with Daenerys at his side. Sansa and a few others made it very clear how they felt about the Targaryens. They might not know Daenerys, but they do not trust her or her dragons, and they have a good reason. Dany's father, the Mad King, did not leave a good impression on the people of the North, so I completely understand why they would be hesitant when it comes to accepting Daenerys as an alliance or as their queen. When Jon arrives with Daenerys and her dragons, the tension in the North is going to be very high. I think we could see Jon bump heads with Euron Royce and even Sansa, but once the Night King shows up, they aren't going to have time for these petty differences. If they do not unite and fight together, they're not going to survive. They need Dany's men, and they need her dragons, or else they stand no chance against the army of the dead. So with that being said, I don't think Sansa is going to take this too far. She will express how she feels, and her and Jon are not going to see eye to eye once again. But when the war begins, she will realize Daenerys can be trusted. Daenerys already put her own life on the line to save Jon. Maybe Bran can help Sansa understand all of this. Bran can see everything, and he could explain exactly what kind of person Daenerys is by the things that he has seen her do, or the things she's gonna do. The next question is from Night Gaming. Do you see the Night King being Bran? Will Arya embrace Dany? I doubt Sansa will. Let me answer that first one first. Do you think Bran is the Night King? And I'm gonna give you the short answer, and that is no. Bran is not the Night King. But I do understand why people think that. It's not a bad theory necessarily, but I just don't think that's where they're going to go. Now, will Arya embrace Dany? I think Arya will embrace Jon, and she will support Jon with whatever decisions he is making. I really don't think Arya and Daenerys will become besties, but Arya will support her because of her love for her brother Jon. Now I know they're not technically brother and sister, but you know what I mean. They will always be brother and sister. They have a special bond that cannot be broken. I do think Arya will be very surprised with all of the revelations next season, but I don't think that will change her relationship with Jon. Therefore, Arya and Dany will get along well enough. Arya might even come to respect Daenerys because of how fearless she can be when it comes to going into battle. This next question is from Andre, and he said, do you think because Tyrion is known for reading a lot, that somehow he read something about the truth of Jon's parentage? And that's why he had that look of concern as Jon entered Daenerys' room. That's not a bad idea, Andre, but I don't think that was the case. In my opinion, Tyrion gave that look for another reason. I think he was more concerned with what this means politically, and the potential dangers it could put Daenerys in. Or Tyrion may have even felt like his own position is slipping further and further out of his grasp. Tyrion is the hand of the queen to Daenerys, but she has pretty much stopped taking all of his advice, and she has even been angry with him lately. Now that Jon has entered the picture, Daenerys has pretty much put everything to the side to follow Jon and everything he wants to do. Daenerys put her own life in danger to save Jon, and Tyrion even told her if she died, then everything they worked for would have been for nothing, and Daenerys went anyway. Now that Daenerys is falling in love with Jon, she will be even more inclined to doing what Jon wants to do, and further distancing herself from Tyrion and his council. I think Tyrion sees that he may be becoming useless in Dany's eyes now that she has Jon, and becoming romantically involved with someone in the middle of two different wars is not exactly ideal. The next question is from Tim. How do you think the Unsullied and Dothraki will do fighting in a terrain they are extremely unfamiliar in, i.e. the snow, the ice, and rocky, hilly terrain? I don't think they are going to do very well at all. I have a good feeling the Unsullied and Dothraki are going to get slaughtered, and mostly for the reasons you just gave. The northern terrain is completely foreign to them. The Unsullied and Dothraki have never fought in winter before, and this will be one of the worst winters on record. Almost 95% of the soldiers are going to be useless. This war will come down to a few different things. The Night King, his dragon, his giants, and White Walkers. And then on the other side, you will have Dany's dragons and Jon, plus his small group of super soldiers. Those will be the main focal points of these battles. Those are the X factors. All of the other soldiers, who have no names, will be slaughtered. It will look amazing to see hundreds of thousands of soldiers in whites fighting in a scene of chaos, but ultimately it will come down to the main characters and their magical weapons, like dragons, giants, direwolves, Valyrian steel swords, and things like that. The next question is from Mike Warren. Which characters do you think will survive till the end? What role do you think they will assume in forming the new world of Westeros? There are only a handful of characters that I am confident enough to say that I guarantee they would survive. They are mostly the characters who fall under the Cripples, Bastards, and Broken Things moniker. People like Samwell Tarly, Gendry, Davos, Jon Snow, Tyrion Lannister, and a few others that I have made videos about. They will be the characters to survive, and they will be the ones to rebuild and restore Westeros. They will need to make new laws and put together a council of rulers instead of just having one king or one queen rule over everything. They've already learned the hard way that it doesn't work that way. If they truly want to break the wheel, then they have to change everything, and the way of living everyone was accustomed to. This next question is from Lucas. Who will die, Dany or Jon? I have been saying this for quite some time now. If one of them dies, I think it will be Daenerys. I don't want to go too deep into this because I have talked about it before, but I think the ending could be very ironic. Think about it like this. The whole time, Daenerys has thought she had the rightful claim to the Iron Throne. Then when her dragons finally got big enough and her army got big enough, she comes to Westeros to claim this throne. But she soon realized she wasn't going to take it as easily as it may have seemed, due to her strength in numbers, and in the end, she never had the rightful claim after all, and she dies before she even reaches the Iron Throne. Then on the other hand, you have the bastard Jon Snow. He never had the desire to sit on the Iron Throne, nor did he think he would ever be in a position to do so. But then he comes to find out he is the rightful heir to the Seven Kingdoms. But in the end, he doesn't even want it. I think it may end like that. Daenerys never reaches it, and Jon doesn't want it. I am not sure how to pronounce this next person's name, but I will read your question. Do you think the Night King will unleash new forces, such as ice spiders? I do believe this is very possible. With only one season left, I think we could see just about anything. We didn't know the Night King had giants until season 7, so it wouldn't be that crazy if they introduced spiders in the next season. When the Great War begins, we will truly see what the Night King is fully capable of, and I won't rule ice spiders out. Actually, I hope we do see them. I think that would be very cool. And I would almost guarantee the Night King has one more surprise tucked up his sleeve. Speaking of the Night King and surprises, this leads me to the last question I will answer in this video. Can the Night King be destroyed by Valyrian steel or dragonglass weapons? This is a great question, and this could be another one of those surprises the Night King has up his sleeve. About a year ago, I made a video about how to defeat the Night King, and in that video I said it's going to take something much more special than the magical weapons we have currently seen. I do not think Valyrian steel or dragonglass will kill him. It's going to take more than that. We know the White Walkers can be killed by those weapons, but since the Night King is the most powerful of them all, then it would only make sense that it would take more than that to stop him. Besides, he was made with dragonglass, so I doubt dragonglass could kill him. It's going to take one of two things to stop him. It will need to be a dragon that kills him, or a sword like Lightbringer. But let me know what you think. Give me your thoughts on some of the questions from today's video. I would like to see what you have to say. I want to thank all of you for stopping by and watching the video. I always appreciate that. And I also want to thank my supporters on Patreon. Your support truly means a lot to me. I hope everyone has a great day. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.